Hello, and welcome to the Dentologist Live. Ian Cordle here. Another beautiful morning in California, Northern California. And boy, I'm excited for the show here today. I have Monique and Cruz Castillo from Las Vegas, Nevada. And this bright, bushy-eyed young couple, we'll call them. Boy, I'll tell you, they are very inspiring. You know, they're hard workers. They have a beautiful young family, and I can't wait to introduce them to you. But I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors here. Mobile Tech Shade, simply the best. The mobile suction cup stand extendable umbrella system, and Dent Man Tools. We cannot forget about Dent Man Tools. Great tools, great line of tools. Make sure you go out and support these local companies. But today on the Dentologist Live, I will have Monique and Cruz. And, there's a couple of key things that I want to point out before I bring them on, before I even start the show. So those of you that are watching right now, those of you that will watch it later, I want to make sure that, I point out a couple of key things, and that is, paintless dent repair, as many of you know, is very hard to pick up, one, and two, actually continue to grab accounts and build your business. It takes years. It takes years of having that foundation. So this couple, I have to say, their dad or her dad has been doing paintless dent repair for quite a while. Trained her, then she has now trained her husband, and I'll tell you, they're just great people. So with that said, I'm still waiting on my intro to download here, so I thought I'd take a couple minutes here and introduce them. But I'm going to wait for a second before I do so, just because I'm going to again emphasize that people, please download the link on Facebook and make sure that, or actually on this link here, to make sure that you guys are seen when you guys are texting on the screen and so forth. So I want to make sure that I put this down here. I'm going to put this on the screen right now. Let's see here. We're going to go and put this right here. Paste. So this is the link that everyone needs to make sure that you click on and go through the motions and get up and running here, because for today's show, I'm going to be asking the audience to ask a few questions and be involved on this show here. So you know what? This is taking a little longer than to load than expected. So I'm just going to bring Monique and Cruz on, and once it loads, I'll just stop it and I'll show you the intro that I had for them here. So let's go ahead and introduce Monique and Cruz. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
How's everybody this morning?
Pretty good.
We're good.
Good. You nervous?
No.
Good. Neither am I. Well, I'll tell you what. I want to make sure that everyone knows who you are. Please introduce yourself. I did a little bit of introducing before you came on. Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
I'll let my lovely wife go first.
I'm Mo. A lot of people already know me, but if you don't, my name is Monique, and I actually own Southpaw PDR, and this is my husband, Cruz.
I'm Cruz.
How long have you been doing PDR, Monique?
A little over 2 years now. Yeah.
And was I correct in saying that your dad had shown you the ways of PDR?
He has, yes. He
okay,
has
who's
been.
your dad?
My dad is Ray Gonzalez, and he owns Dent Effect here in Las Vegas. So yeah, he's actually been a big part of like where I'm at in life right now. So I thank him for that. Yeah, definitely.
I like your dad. Well, I'll tell you what, I apologize this morning. There's always some kind of issue with the dentologist. At least today, people can hear me. I can have the show and introduce you and everything, but I apologize because the intro is still loading. So something, I think it's because I put so much time into it. It's so huge that it takes an hour to load, but only about a minute and a half to watch. So we'll be watching it here in just a little bit. But needless to say, having you guys on, the reason I asked both of you to come on the show here was, I highlight many different technicians and different areas, that they work, that they excel in. And, I was watching some of the stuff on the intro pictures and stuff like that you had sent over to me for both you guys. And, the main key thing, would you agree, is have fun and, wake up every morning with a smile on your face. Would you agree?
Definitely. That's like very important.
Yeah, we're real big goofballs. So most of the time work's just a big old playground.
That's awesome. If you can't make it fun, definitely it gets old real quick. Now, you have how many kids together?
We have a total of 5.
5 children. Wow, that's a busy household.
Always.
And why don't you kind of name off the ages and the names of the children that you have with you?
All right. So it ranges. We have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, 8 and a 10-year-old this month, and then a 14-year-old. And then, our youngest is Sienna. And then we have Emerald, Violet, Tony, and Jesely. So a bunch of girls, one poor little boy in the middle.
One boy.
I'll tell you what this Facebook user here commented on being a power couple. That's the epitome. After hearing how many heads, how many chitlins you guys have in the household, man. So bringing this family dynamic together, I see both of you guys are pushing. How do you make it work with all these kids? And I mean, young kids, no doubt. How do you guys make it work and both push? Do you take turns? How's it work out?
Most of the time, like during the school year, the older ones are good until about 3 o'clock. After school programs, watch them, but most of the time, we're able to go get them right after school. Our youngest goes to daycare in the mornings. And yeah, since we started doing this, we can kind of set our own schedule. So it's actually given us a lot more time. We've been able to spend a lot more time together with all of them, and it's been a real big blessing. I was working like 12 to 16 hours a day.
Long days, like
as you should. Okay. Hey man, we want to work hard for our families, and with all the stuff going on in the world right now with the pandemic and everything, it's kind of put a different mindset on things. I know being a father and a dad and a business owner, and for many years, my boys are all up and grown up. Proud of them. One of them works for me now. But I'll tell you, it works with me. Works with me, not for me. And I'll tell you, those 12, 14, 16-hour days, it's just what we do, man. It's just how we do it. We make it happen. We do whatever it takes to make it happen. But I do see that you guys have quite the state-of-the-art tool selection. I know I follow Monique on Facebook and Instagram, and I've seen her post her clean glue pulling setup at the end of the week when she goes and reorganizes it. I've noticed her pushing with some stand liner tools. Now, how long have you been pushing, Monique?
For about 2.5 years almost. Yeah. My dad got me started right from the start. Like, he wasn't playing. He was like, you're going to learn this. And I was pushing like day 2. So
that's awesome. Awesome. Now, what about you, Cruz?
It's kind of the same. So she's been teaching me slowly but surely, and then on days that we don't have anything, I'll go with her dad, or we'll all go out together, and I'll kind of watch, and he'll let me hop in, and he shows me how to push, how to like look for access points, anything like that, how to determine whether we're going to push or whether we're going to pull. So it's kind of the same thing, just trial by fire. He just kind of throws you in there and says, well, let's see what you got. And he pretty much just, anything that we might mess up a little bit, he just cleans it right up and we're good to go.
That's great. We had talked a little bit before the show, and the subject was, if one person excels in something more than another, you guys build off of that and really, kind of figure out which person can do what kind of thing or how they're excelling, and then all grow. Is that the truth?
Yeah, absolutely. So with us, you know, we're like sister companies, and if there's anything that we get that we know we're a little uncomfortable with, or we don't think we can get all the way, we'll definitely send it out to him. But we'll still go and we'll watch, because while like for example, I just seem to be really good at pulling anything that has to do with pulling. I just really good at it. My wife's really good at pushing. Ray's also really good at pushing, tapping down. He's got a lot more skill, a lot more time than most of us, but we definitely fill in wherever we fall short as a group all together. It's her mom, her dad, her sister, and then the two of us. So it's really nice to be able to have somebody excel in parts you don't, so that way you can watch and we kind of grow and learn and progress all together as a group.
Yeah.
You know what I've seen, you know, for years is specific technicians that were, you know, that started with, you know, with whether there was companies or, you know, different businesses or by themselves. The difference was quite a bit, actually. It was, you know, these people that had other technicians to grow off of and build off of and so forth. They actually excelled a lot faster than the ones that were trying to do it on their own. You know, but everyone does it a little bit different. And, you know, whether it's how you tap something down, how you push on something, deep dents, small dents, blue pull dents. But with that said, I'm going to keep this conversation going here, but I want to introduce the world to you guys through my intro video like I do. It finally came up, and I'm going to play this for everybody here. A little late, but that's okay. Better late than never, right?
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and get this in the stream here. And I'm going to hide us here and play this intro. Cooking with gas. Let me bring this power couple back in here. You know, I really do like, you know, when I get sent pictures and I get to highlight different people in the industry, it definitely gives me a big smile on my face when I watch these videos come to life here each week. And boy, I have to tell you, some of the pictures that you sent me of your family and everything, how exciting. You guys are definitely blessed.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask a couple more questions here. I'm full of hot air, as you guys can probably tell. And I had a couple of different things that I was, you know, thinking about this week when I asked you to be on the show. And that was, you know, what struggles have you guys had other than just learning, you know, the whole PDR business? But what struggles have you had specifically with specific type dents like large dents, high spots even, like tapping down stuff. Was there one specific thing that just fought you and you really had to try to push through, or you're still struggling with?
Yeah.
He's struggling with actually the final tap down. So he's still trying to learn
finishing.
The finish. I'm still a little bit struggling with deep dents, the final touches on them. But other than that, I think that's basically it. We just take on all the other stuff and work as we go, It's like a learning experience.
Yeah, PDR is really weird. So like me especially, I feel like I excel at a lot of things very quickly. Like no matter what it is that I've done in my life, I've always caught on really fast and I've done it real good. But this is really taking me a lot of time to understand, and sometimes I just have to step back and like look at the whole dent, the whole vehicle, and try and figure out like what it is that I need to do. But PDR has definitely been absolutely the most challenging job that I've had to learn and continue on.
It's definitely not easy.
Go ahead, Monique.
Oh, I was gonna say it's definitely not easy. Like when I started off, I was like, oh, this is probably gonna be easy, like a lot of people think, but it's really not. And like when we go out and we get customers that are like, oh yeah, you'll be done in like no time. I'm like, we're hoping we'll be done in no time. It just depends on the dent. Like no dent is the same. It takes time to figure out how to get that done out, and a lot of people don't understand that, and I didn't understand that until I started doing it. So yeah,
speed
difficult.
Comes with time behind it.
Yeah.
The more years you put into it, the more techniques, the more things that you're able to spot and decipher to bring that dent up quicker and quicker and quicker, but mainly keeping that in the back of your head of, what, this dent could spank me. And when you start getting overconfident, it's gonna do exactly that. It's gonna spank you. You'll have those days where you've been on for for 20 years. There's nothing that could stop you. You win at everything. And then that one day, might have been the way you woke up out of bed or whatever. I don't know what to call it, but man, that one dent that you've taken out 100,000 times before just gives it to you. And that is PDR. Period. That's just something that I teach to the guys that I train, have for years. And, now with my son working with me, that is one of the biggest things. But if I can give you any tips on that, because like I said, I got all kinds of hot air. The biggest tip I can give you is cross-check. Keep in mind the light, whether it's closer or further away is one thing, but how high up and how far down the light is also makes a big, huge difference as well, being able to see inside the dent. So, understanding the light, understanding the reflections, understanding how, the cross between, the light and dark and where it splits and how to switch it, how to make it reverse, looking at it the same way. The people that aren't PDR technicians are going to hear me talking going, this dude's talking alien. But the people that do PDR know exactly what I'm talking about. They know that's where they've had their aha moments is, messing around different ways of putting the light and working it and trying more heat and trying to bring up more, trying to hit that money spot right in the center of a sharp, deep dent and bringing up more metal or aluminum in the beginning, So that is, I guess you call it one tip, but that's like 10 tips, isn't it? We've got some people out here in the audience that want to offer their help too. And start the light close, finish off far, exactly. Shine that light into the dent and you'll make less mistakes. Very, very true. And a person that explains it quite well because he uses so much natural reflection is Sal Contreras. I got to say, if you guys have ever watched any of his videos or seen how he attacks a dent, he will bring up so much metal with the initial push, and he'll take his time. The majority of his time will be just the setup to have that one aha push perfect at whatever angle he needs to be at, seeing it, and just bring that thing up to where most techs are like, no, dude, But that's his technique. That's how he does it. But he does it by seeing into the dent and bringing it off further to see that natural reflection. We have another one here. Let's see. I love when the audience gets involved. Whatever you spend 10,000 hours in or more, you become professional. You'd hope so, right? But I know several techs, I'm not going to name any names, that have spent more than that. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that, right?
I think there's like in this type of job, there's always learning. Like you're never gonna stop learning. Like there's always gonna be something new. And with that being said, like hours, it doesn't matter how many hours you do it, you know, you're always gonna keep learning. So
very true. Very true. I learn every single dent that I do. I have dents that I tackle big stuff on a daily basis, and it's like once you start that genre coming in and you're selling for and everything else, it seems like every single job you get is deep and crushed and complex, and it's 100 dents in one, and but you work through it, and that's another situation now I have under my belt, and I've got some more artillery for the next one that comes in. So I wanted to ask you, Cruz. Now you are in the military, or you were in the military?
Was separated last year in November.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service, buddy. I appreciate that, man. I give it up to all the people that are in the service. We're in the service. I'll tell you, it's what makes this world go round. Without them, we wouldn't have what we have. I want to ask you a couple of questions here. Just kind of randomly, let me know what's the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you these questions, okay?
All
so
right.
The agenda is telling me a question of retail or wholesale. What is your preference?
Right now, wholesale.
Yeah, that's.
Was that? Is it like a U-Haul account? Is that a U-Haul account and stuff? Some of the pictures that were in that video.
They're just different accounts. We have a few. Yeah, and then like I said, we go out and do retail, but we're new at it, and it's kind of scary going out and doing someone's actual car, a nice one. So yeah,
it is.
But we're doing it. We're slowly doing it and getting by.
You're doing great. You are doing awesome. Okay, you're doing it. That's the whole thing. Both you guys are doing it. That's all that matters. So, country music, rap music, or rock?
Oh man, we're all over the place. So rap.
He's a big rap person.
I like rap, old school rap. She's a real big country girl.
Or G-Eazy, or what are we talking about here?
Oh man, I'm big into talk. A lot of the old guys. I'm not too into what's coming out now, but the old stuff, the good stuff.
All right. And you, Monique?
Oh, I'm a big country girl. Like a lot of people might not look at me and see it, but yeah, I love my country.
I'm like Heinz 57. I love it all.
We love it all, but that's my preference is country.
Tap down or hammer?
Oh.
Hammers I feel like you got to work with them for a good amount of time, because I'll feel confident and I'll try and hammer it, and I'll have to go just tap down, go back to the tap down and get those spots, because it's something about hitting the same spot or being able to hit the same spot every time is something I just need a few more hours in,
Yeah, definitely tap down, but yeah.
No, the hammer is very tough. You can start really excelling in the hammer when you finish a dent, and you're like, man, why do I still see a low? Why do I've pushed on this darn low 100,000 times, and I still see something. It's not the low. It's the outside edges of the dent that you need to tap down and blend out, which will make the center disappear. That's when you stand back, you grab your hammer, and you start learning how to do that, and do it on wholesale at first, because believe me, you'll start getting that temperament and learning, how much to do. It's almost like just going through the motions and seeing that happen, or seeing another tech do that. It's an aha moment. It's like, wow, I didn't need to get on there and push for another 3 hours. All I had to do was just tap down the outside edges of this and cross check and do those kind of things. So I know you guys have probably had moments like that. I still do to this day. It's like I'll be struggling with something, and it's like, dude, would you stop and just tap down the crowns and you're done? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the other part of it. Like, so I can, like I said, I'm pretty good at pulling and pushing. It's a tap down that I'm not that great at. So I'll be working on it for 10, 15 minutes, and it looks the exact same. I just can't figure out what I'm doing wrong, and then she'll come through and be like, "Oh, cool, 1, 2, 3, gone, completely gone." I'm just like, how?
I love it.
I was taught though that like the money is in the tap down. So like you gotta know how to tap down before anything because you're gonna make highs and that's where it's at. Like you have to tap it back down into place. So one thing I'm telling him, like he needs to get on it. He needs to be on point with the tap down.
A great practice thing, something that both of you can practice at, as you know, Cruz can practice at, that I've shown a lot of people is dot to dot. And it's not just making a dot and finding your tool and hitting it. It's making it smaller and smaller to where it's almost, so stinking small that you can barely see it. And if you can get that thing right, your tooltip right on the money center of that small little dot, you're good. Right when you think, oh man, I'm the man, I can hit that sucker every single time. Now you take it and you make a curly cue and you put dots on the curly cue and you make a small high, not killing it, not just warping the whole panel, but try to make just an initial dot on each one of those in a curly cue. And you'll notice that as you go around it, you start doing it, it gets harder to see. It gets harder to see where your tooltip is. That's where you'll start. Then when you do about 10 of those, now grab your punches and try to make all of them perfectly flat without having to push on them again. When you can do 10 of those straight, the curly cues with the dots inside that follow it, and put highs in them and take the high spots out of them and make them where you can't see them when you wipe the pen away from the panel. It's like a moment where you're like, I have made it. So try that. We don't like to practice once we start making money doing it. But on those times you might have a little bit of downtime or something like that to better yourself or to try this, it really is a fun game, especially if you have someone else to to play it with or whatever, because start pushing on each other's setups that you set up, and then you start messing them up because you put this huge little high, and then they have to go and pick it out. Make it fun. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Another one here. So glue or push?
I say push for me.
Yeah, I like pushing. I can kind of see as you go. I like the fact that as you're pushing and you're watching it, you can see everything gradually go. Versus when I pull, you can't see the center or wherever you're working on it, and you just kind of have to go off the sides. So I probably go with pushing.
Okay. And then, have you guys done any hell ever? Have you guys ever been introduced to it or even seen it or been in front of it?
I have not.
I did one car, and honestly, I didn't think it was as bad as what everyone said, but it was only one car, so I can't even say it was bad. But yeah, I've done one car, and it had like about maybe 30 dents on the hood, and then it had about, I want to say, a couple on the roof. So yeah, but I mean, I think I like those perfectly round, dents. They work for me. I don't know. I felt like I was comfortable with that. So, right. But I have to get into doing hail to know if I'm actually something I like more. Yeah.
These techs around the world are doing hail jobs. I'll tell you, I'm doing dents for a long time, and it gave me great respect for one, that whole field of dent repair. When I pull up and I see, 1,000 dents on a roof and dents right on the cab corners that are that deep, and they're like this, and the guy's like, Carl Stuckey, I got this, John Renstrom, animal, this dude, I'll do the roof. It's like, yeah, you go ahead and do that, I mean, these things, and it's like, dude, this guy's gonna fail, he's gonna just crash and burn, and then when it's done, it's like, if that can be done, but to see that kind of stuff really drive, to me, that drives me. It's like, oh, dude, if they can do it, I know I can do it, but man, this is going to hurt, oh my gosh, this is just crazy watching some of this stuff be done. So here's another question here. We got soda or water?
Oh man, out in the heat while we're working, water all day.
But we do drink soda.
Yeah.
More than we should.
Yeah, a little sugar never. Well, I guess it did hurt people, but every once in a while, I guess if it's in small increments, you're good. We had a question from the audience here, and that is, what tapper or knockdown do you use the most? Or do you have an array of them? Let's say, do you use a sharp like metal punch for fine-tune work if they're sharp? Do you see that one punch is like your go-to every time? One paddle or a hammer?
I use a lot of the peg leg tips. So that's kind of my go-to. If it's not that, it's typically the VIP 2.0. So, and he just varies. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of go with the flow. The peg leg I'm a little more comfortable with.
What is it? Dave Stream. He's got all the naughty names. He's got all the innuendos and so forth. But he has some great tips as well. I guess to me, the different tips, the metal tips and so forth, it has a shock value on the metal as you're bringing it down. And when you use Delron or anything that's not metal, and I've just learned this thing in the last 10 years, when you use anything that's not metal, you start seeing bringing down more metal than you actually wanted to. You're having to start a little bit further behind to bring the dent back up, even when you use these punches. So, but again, I learn every day, and sometimes you'll get that sucker and you'll tap it one time. You just tapped it 1,000 times somewhere else. You'll tap it one time. And now you got that little sticking low. It's like, oh my gosh, but that's where the dot to dot comes in, and I can find my tool on a gnat's behind. Now you're in Las Vegas, Southpaw PDR. You guys are rocking and rolling. What would be something that, let's say, an obstacle that you've come up on during this whole pandemic that you're seeing your way through, or maybe not, but that has definitely been an obstacle for you during this time. Have you had any?
No, actually, we were very grateful to have the opportunity to actually open our own business during that time. So, and it was like literally right when it happened, and it was just like a shock because I'm like, wow, all this is going on, and I get this opportunity to actually open my own business. So, no, I don't see any. No.
Yeah, it all kind of worked out for us in that sense, because I had gotten laid off from my company, and she had been about 2 weeks into it.
Yeah, just 2 weeks into it.
And she was telling me, she's like, oh yeah, I'm fast, but it'd be nice if I had somebody to come in and help a little bit more. And I was like, oh well, perfect, because I have some news for you. But it kept up. We have about the same amount of work every week, which means the income's steady for us, and it's keeping us right where we were at before. So it's definitely a real good blessing. It hasn't been anything negative, because like I said, we're just getting started, so we're not used to anything big. So our numbers haven't gone down. They've actually just been going up and staying steady.
That's what I like to hear. Successful, people that are charging straight ahead. And I'll tell you, with me being in the business as many years as I have, I've gone through 2 recessions, fires, earthquakes, you name it. Sky is falling. And, you'd think one day, literally Twin Towers falling. I woke up to that the day I was supposed to sign for my house, my first house. It was like, can I catch a break here? Right? But everything works out for a reason, especially when you have your loved ones there, pulling for you, and people that have your back. It's encouraging to me, being that my wife, nobody knows as much about dent repair as my wife, Amy. Compared to me, she is she is a full encyclopedia as far as answering the phone, sales, books, dents. I'll be talking about a dent. She's like, oh yeah, that's where you need to go grab this tap down. She knows all about it, even though she doesn't push, because it's ingrained in her. She's been with me since the beginning, so grow, learn, have fun, and definitely, raising that family. PDR has been very good to me, very, very good to me. I get to meet people like you and interview them, show them to the world. So, what plans do you have for the future? Where do you see PDR? Where do you see yourself with PDR here in the future?
We're actually looking into opening our own building. So
Your own shop?
that's our goal, is to try to get our own shop, and we're actually trying to do it with my dad's company. So it's gonna be both of us together. It's not gonna be like Southpaw or Den Effect. It's just gonna be a family-owned business where we can go if we need.
That's
you know, we're mobile, so a lot of stuff we do, we can't take apart the car. So it will benefit us in the long run. But that's what we look for doing in the future.
I can tell Ray has. Ray's old school. I can tell just by meeting him, shaking his hand at Mobile Tech Expo all these years, chatting with him a couple times, grinding me, on price and this and that. I'll tell you, Ray, I like your dad. I like him a lot. We don't know each other that well. I know we'd get along. We definitely would have a lot to talk about if we were out in the field doing PDR together. But that's it. Having that dynamic and you guys doing something together, even thinking about doing it, kudos. That's awesome. I like doing stuff like that. So that would be in the Las Vegas area?
It would be, yeah.
Okay. Because one of the questions from the audience here was, do you have plans to diversify your business more? And we pretty much just answered that, didn't we? We pretty much just answered that. So, well, I'll tell you what. Let's see, what time is it here? We got 8:11. I appreciate you guys coming on. Is there anything you'd like to add to the Dentologist Live here before we end the show?
No, we just want to say thanks for having us on. Thanks for all the advice, all the questions from everybody. And we look forward to meeting everybody and learning as much as we can from you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Mo?
I want to say thanks for having us on. Like, when I got the message, I was stoked. Like, it was just a surprise. Like I said, we're kind of to ourselves. Like, we're not out there like, hey, look at us. So it was actually nice that someone actually noticed us, and it kind of caught me. I was like, oh, that's cool that someone wants to interview us.
Well,
and
we're
this industry, we're all family.
I was thinking about who to interview, and we've talked several times, and it's great that God put you in my path during Mobile Tech Expos a couple different times to meet you and sell you my product. And that's when it was like, they'd be people that I would really like to know more about. So thank you for coming on to the Dentologist Live. Thank you for letting all these people out here in the dent world here meet you and get to know you. And don't hesitate to reach out to me, or I bet you there's several people here that would be more than happy to help you. There's so many great people in the industry that have no problem whatsoever dropping what they're doing and helping a young couple like yourself. So keep pushing and keep that smile on your face, guys. It's looking good.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you. All
right, you guys have a good day.
Bye. Have a nice one.
Bye. What a great couple. I've seen several people in my 30-year venture for paintless dent repair that they don't have half of that, and yet they strive every day to get up, push, try to make the best of their day. But boy, having someone that's got your back that can check you during the times that you need to be checked, if you're falling short, it would be a dynamic to the relationship. I agree, but it's something that you're doing together. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't change that in my life or go back and change it whatsoever, because the person that I had coming up this whole time with me, they're who made me who I am. And I love my wife. I just wanted to tell her that. It's her birthday tomorrow. We've been together a lot of years, and she's definitely been everything to me. So with that said, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and keep pushing. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the Dentologist Live. Our sponsors are Mobile Tech Shade, Simply the Best, and Dent Man Tools. And again, I appreciate you watching, and I can't wait to see you next week. Who knows who I'm going to have on, but it's going to be somebody we're going to get to understand who they are and what PDR means to them. So everyone have a great day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.